So, what's the difference? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, we're all in agreement. We can all say that at one point in time that America treated black people as second-class citizens. Everybody can agree on that. I don't care what your skin shade is, black, white, green, purple, orange, yellow, blue. We can all agree that this was the case in the United States of America. And there was a civil rights movement because many people thought the same. And it's basically a civil rights movement, which happened in the 1960s for the most part, that people were fighting for civil rights for blacks. When blacks stood up and said enough. And it wasn't just blacks involved in it. There were also white people who were involved in the civil rights movement, or this movement to push for rights for blacks. Now, there were basically two groups in this movement. You had the nonviolent group, Martin Luther King. This is what we talked about more. You had the Freedom Riders, the lunch counter sitting. These are the people who did the majority of the marches and the protesting. These are people who had the fire hoses sicked on them, but they were nonviolent. And they attempted to try to push for civil rights. Then you had the more militant group, the Nation of Islam, the Black Panthers. These were the people who were, again, they were more militant in pushing for rights for blacks, And of course, Malcolm X, always known for saying, what was the phrase? By any means necessary. Now, one of the symbols of the more militant groups was the fist in the air, right? And we all remember that iconic photo from that power salute from the Olympics, the gold medal ceremony. And this was done by Tommy Smith and John Carlos at the 68 Olympics. They did this. But it was understandable, because black people were fighting for rights, regardless of what side you were on, whether if you were part of the nonviolent movement with Dr. King or if you were part of the more militant movement. The fact is that black people were fighting for rights. And it was understandable back then. Now today, it's a different story though, because there's nothing for black people to fight for, yet you have idiots who are fighting the power for no reason. And if you look at it today, a lot of these people still have the fist to fist, right? You see the fist emojis. They're, on social media, which is, I think it's funny today how certain things that social media won't allow, but they will allow the fist in the air. And every time I see that, I always ask myself, right, what's the difference between this today and this? The Nazi salute. Because if you look at that fist in the air today, it's today. Back then it was a symbol of fight. It was a symbol of struggle for freedom. Now, it's a symbol of hate and superiority. So I ask myself, how is that fist up any different than the Nazi salute? Now, some people would say, well, how are blacks superior? Superior what? Well, a black man, a black person can get on any platform, say whatever they want about pretty much anybody, especially white folks. You see black folks talking about white folks like a dog, and nothing happens. A white person say anything remotely close to that, there will be crime racism. That white person will be removed. It'll be considered hate speech. So if that's not superiority, then somebody please ask me what superiority is. And some people will ask, well, how is that power? Well, if you are a white person and you make your money off of social media, like so many people do, and you say the wrong thing, you can be removed. And if you in media somewhere, you're a person who high profile in business, say the wrong thing, you can have your business hurt. Now, I always say that blacks may not exercise the power. However, if the power is acted upon black people's behalf, then it's still power being used. So is that not a form of power? If you can go to the power structure, quote unquote, and get people removed, then please explain to me how that's not having access to the power. Anyway, like I said, if you look at all the hate that goes on in America, because you always hear the left talking about we need to squash out hate, yet all the hate is coming from the left. And there's no group in America who says the more racist things and have more hate coming out of their mouths than black people. And if anybody disagree with me, then please give me evidence of this. Name me the white organization that's out in the forefront that's saying that they're superior, and it's not a white group that and they don't get attacked, like the quote unquote the alt-right, which is so such a small percentage of the white people, it's ridiculous. And the alt-right is not promoted and celebrated, right? But name me the white group that's going around and saying black queens or white queens forever, and these black women never, like Dr. Umar Johnson. That's foolishness. And gets away with it, and is loud on it, can stay on social media. It doesn't exist. So like I said, I just need to know how the symbol of the fist is not hate, because all of the hate that I see, all the disparaging that I see is coming from blacks. The most you hear, the most nonsense that you ever hear in this country, the most hate, racism, is coming out of the mouths of the people who do the most crying about racism. So I'm sorry, the fist in the air today is no different than the Nazi salute. So if anyone's gonna be offended by that Nazi salute, then you have to be just as offended by that fist, because it's not a symbol of strength and of courage and fight for freedom anymore. It's just a symbol of hate and superiority. Now, again, if you disagree with me, I would love to hear what you have to say on anybody. But as far as I'm concerned, what I see, all the hate that I see coming from the left, and the most racist stuff that you ever hear is coming out the mouth of a black person. Anyway, this is my 2 cents on it. And yes, that fist up is no different than the Nazi salute. And it's always, y'all, until next time.